It's not about today. It's about the future. You do the work now, and all of the shit that you could ever want to do for your family, your kids, your loved ones, it's all going to be on a whole nother stratosphere. It's time to stay focused, man.
Storm.
Chance at 70. Embiid, coast to coast for 70.
Joel Hans Embiid was born in Yaoundé, Cameroon, March 16th, 1994. Embiid would grow up playing soccer and volleyball in his childhood, and he originally planned to be a professional volleyball player in Europe. However, he started playing basketball when he was 15, and he wanted to model his game after Hakeem Olajuwon, which you can see the influence that he has in his game today. Embiid was discovered by Luc Mbah-a-Moute, a former NBA player who is also from Yaoundé, Cameroon, and he mentored Embiid, and Embiid would then move to the United States when he was 16, and he would enroll at Montverde Academy, which is one of the most prestigious high school programs in the United States. After his first year at Montverde Academy, he would attend the Rock School, which was a Christian academy in Gainesville, Florida, and they would be 33-4 and win the state title. Embiid would be a 5-star recruit and go on to commit to Kansas in November of 2012. Now at Kansas, Embiid would play for one season along someone else you guys may know, Andrew Wiggins, and he would average stats of 11.2 points, 8.1 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 2.6 blocks a game. He was named Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year and was on the second team All Big 12. However, this would kind of be the beginning of his injury history, as he would suffer a stress fracture in March of 2014 and miss the Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament. Hello everyone, I'm Mason Moves, and let's get into the story of how Joel Embiid went from the process and one of the most hyped draft prospects to becoming plagued with injuries throughout the rest of his NBA career up to this point. Make sure to leave a like on today's video and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you never miss an upload. On April 9th, 2014, Joel Embiid would declare for the 2014 NBA draft. However, 6 days before the draft, he underwent surgery on a navicular bone in his right foot. He would still be picked 3rd overall by the Philadelphia 76ers. He would end up missing his entire first 2 seasons in the NBA because of this. He would end up having second surgery on his foot in his second season of the NBA, and he would have to miss the entire season. Embiid's injuries would follow him into his rookie season, and even though he would end up making the all-rookie first team with averages of 20 points, almost 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2.5 blocks a game, he would only play 31 games in the season. And in February of 2017, it was announced that Embiid had a torn meniscus in his left knee, so he was not able to participate in All-Star Weekend. First, it was announced that he would not need surgery, but an MRI revealed that the bone bruise had gotten worse on his knee, so he needed minor arthroscopic surgery to address the meniscus tear. Now, before we get into Embiid's first season making an All-Star team and All-NBA team, the 76ers were very terrible. 3 years in a row, they would finish below 20 wins. 1 year even went 10-72, and Joel Embiid himself would then get nicknamed the Process, as he was the main star draft pick of theirs that they were trying to rebuild around. Even throughout his injuries, he was the team's main focus. And for the first time, it seemed like trusting the process was finally paying off for them, as they would finish third in the Eastern Conference. Embiid would be an all-star. He would end up making the All-NBA and the All-Defensive second team in 2018, and the 76ers would make it to the second round of the playoffs, where they would lose to the Boston Celtics in 5 games. Embiid would have an orbital fracture in his left eye shortly before the playoffs and missed the first 2 games of their series against the Miami Heat, and it just seemed like every single time he tried to accomplish either getting to the playoffs or having a fully healthy season, he would get struck with another injury. Now, as for the 2018-2019 season, Embiid would improve even more. He would make the second team again All-NBA and the second team All-Defensive, with averages of 27.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2 blocks a game. As this 76ers team with Jimmy Butler would end up beating the Nets in 5 games in the first round. However, they would lose in 7 to the Toronto Raptors in one of the most infamous ways in NBA history. Roll the clip.
Off the Leonard, to Simmons. Is this the dagger?
As for their first round series, Embiid did seem pretty dominant. He was averaging 25 points, almost 51% from the field, and blocking almost 3 shots a game. Now, Embiid would face a major drop-off in the series against the Raptors, only averaging 17 points. However, it was said that he was battling through flu-like symptoms during the series, and the Raptors would end up taking it in Game 7 in a very nail-biting fashion. Now, it was the 2020 season and the NBA bubble as well, and Embiid would average 30 points a game in these playoffs. However, it wouldn't matter, as they would end up getting swept in the first round by the Boston Celtics. Embiid would have a torn ligament in his left hand during the 2020 season, and he would need surgery, and he would be out for 9 games during a stretch in January. And even though he would play 51 of the 76ers' 73 games this season, it would not matter, as it was another short ending to a 76ers season in the playoffs, losing to the Celtics, and his averages were down partially because of injuries once again. His career started turning around in the 2020-2021 season, as he would be second in MVP voting and make the All-NBA second team and defensive second team once again. He would average 28.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.5 blocks a game. It was the first season of his career as well where he shot above 50% from the field. He would only play 51 games once again out of a possible 72. Now, this time it would be a bone bruise in his left knee, keeping him out for a 10-game stretch. He could not seem to escape the injuries, and once again the 76ers would fall short in the NBA playoffs to the Atlanta Hawks, and they would lose in Game 7 once again in the second round. Now, the knee injury that Embiid suffered in 2021 would come back to bite him him, as he was the leading MVP candidate, and he would end up falling short to Nikola Jokic for the award. Their next season, the 21-22 season, he would average 30.6 points, the highest of his career so far, almost 50% from the field, along with averaging 11.5 rebounds and 4 assists a game. He would play a career high of 68 games this season, and most importantly of all for him, he would win the scoring title, arguably the biggest accomplishment of his career up to this point. During the 2022 NBA playoffs, once again, the 76ers, they had just picked up James Harden, and they were looking to fight their way to the finals, finally thinking they had what it takes. Once again, bad luck would strike as Embiid would injure his thumb in Game 3 of the 2022 first round against the Toronto Raptors. He would end up wearing a soft cast, and he would end up not playing very well. And after they beat the Toronto Raptors in 6 games, it would be announced that Embiid had suffered a mild concussion and a right orbital fracture in Game 6, and he would be out indefinitely. He would end up missing the first 2 games of their second round series against the Miami Heat, and they would lose in 6 games. After being eliminated from the playoffs, he would undergo surgery on his right thumb and on his left index finger. It's almost unbelievable looking at how the injuries have plagued him his whole career, and it's almost like you can just go through every season and find 1 or 2 injuries that would happen to him. And I know some players do have 1 or 2 minor injuries, whether it's a calf strain or sore muscle or concussion or anything like that. Embiid has faced the brute force of what injuries can do to an NBA player. He would not let all of these injuries shake him as the 22-23 season came around. The 76ers would finish 3rd in the East once again, just 4 games behind the number 1 seeded Milwaukee Bucks. Embiid would win Most Valuable Player award, and he would win the scoring title for the 2nd straight season, averaging 33 points a game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 1.5 blocks. He shot almost 55% from the field, super efficient, and this was seeming to be him continuing to level up once again. In the 2023 NBA playoffs, the 76ers would sweep the Brooklyn Nets in the first round and lose to the Boston Celtics in 7 games in the second round. It was said that Embiid had a knee sprain in the 2023 NBA playoffs. It was in the second round series that Embiid would miss Game 1 with this knee injury. It was in this first game that the Philadelphia 76ers would beat the Celtics due to a 45-point performance from James Harden, leading them to victory. It's hard to believe that even with them losing in 7 in the second round to the Celtics, that if Embiid was healthy, there is a possibility that maybe they could have won the series. What's really unfortunate for Joel Embiid is the fact that the injuries have plagued him every season of his career. They always find a way to bite him, whether that's in the regular season or in the playoffs. The only time that he didn't seem to have a playoff injury was in the 2020 season, but every other season since 2018, he has faced injury. Making our way to the current year, the 23-24 season, Embiid had a very great year once again and looked like he was on track to win his 2nd straight MVP award. However, on January 30th, 2024, Embiid, after already having a sore knee in games prior, would suffer a torn flap in his meniscus of his left knee and would end up missing around 2 months of the season. This really sucked for him as he was averaging 35 points a game up to this point in the season, and the MVP award looked like it was in his hands. He'd only end up playing 39 games this year. He boasted averages of almost 35 points a game, along with 11 rebounds, 5.5 assists, the highest of his career so far, 1.5 blocks, shooting 53% from the field, and almost 39% from the 3, also a career high. The fact that he was scoring the highest that he had so far, along with his amazing 70-point performance against the San Antonio Spurs this season on January 22nd, It just really sucks to see that once again his season was ended by injuries. He has played so far in the playoffs, and as the time I'm recording this video, the 76ers are down 0-2 in the first round against the New York Knicks. Embiid would face a little scare as he threw a self alley-oop and landed wrong on his knee, and it was unknown if he was going to return to the game as everyone was just terrified. He would come back after halftime with a little blood spot on his knee. Some people believe he had an injection for the pain, and he would end up playing the rest of game 1, ending up with 29 points, and game 2 he would score 34, and he did not shoot very efficiently from the field in either game. Overall, Joel Embiid is one of the most dominant players I have seen with my own 2 eyes on the basketball court. Even though some people may not like him because of his flopping or shooting a lot of free throws, it is still amazing to see some of the moves he did take from Hakeem Olajuwon, the jab steps, the spin moves, the post fades. It does give you a little bit of a Hakeem Olajuwon feel, even if he may not do it the exact same. You do have to kind of feel bad for the guy and how many injuries he's faced throughout his career. He's continuously been criticized for not making it past the second round in the playoffs, and it's hard to foresee when they will be able to do so. You can only hope he will finally be able to be healthy and not deal with so many injuries to every different part of his body imaginable. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you think down below of Joel Embiid as a player and the luck he has faced in his career. Thank you for all the support on the channel recently, and make sure you subscribe and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully you're all enjoying the NBA playoffs as much as I am, and I've been trying to keep up with every game as much as I can. I'm so excited to see how this playoffs turns out, and as we all know, ball never stops.